Hey guys, welcome to the Roofing Resource channel. Today we are going to be tackling a pretty big question. What really happens when you wait too long to replace your roof? Today we have Daniel here with us to kind of tackle that question. So kind of going into that, what are the clearest signs that a roof has aged past its prime and needs replacement?
Yeah, that's a phenomenal question. I think the first thing we can hit on is really just the signs that you can visibly see from the ground, right, or around your home. So some of the signs are just going to be like aging, obviously, but curling, cracking. We have such extreme temperatures here that over time your shingles will start to get baked out and dehydrate, causing them to curl. Like some of the edges will start to curl. Another sign would just be excessive granular loss. A lot of people were up there cleaning out gutters and they'll see that some of those granulars are just caked on, and we see that start to expedite around that 15-year mark. You always have a healthy amount that falls off, even from day one when the roof's installed. I think some other signs would just be, like a sagging roof, or which can be a combination of a few different things, right? Could be an active leak, could just be plywood that's warped over time, depending on how old the home is. And then lastly, probably just like mildew buildup, algae buildup, get another word for it. And that's just going to be, on the side that doesn't get the most sunlight, where some of that morning dew tends to just kind of hang around.
Yep. Now, let's say, a homeowner is maybe, putting it off a little bit as far as a replacement when it comes to an aged roof. What would you say, best thing, what happens when homeowners delay this replacing and everything? What do you see as like possible factors that could happen to the roof if they delay it?
Yeah. Oh man. Unfortunately, we see this too often, just because obviously no one wants to spend that amount of money. It's a big expense. We understand that, but there's a variety of things that can occur when someone wants to wait, and that can be, possibility of water intrusion. I mean, they want to essentially, get another year, 2 years out of it, and what that can mean is just possibility of leaks. We're in a high demand area for storms, and so what that can look like is just water intrusion that can damage your attic insulation. It can damage interior drywall. All of that just adds to the total cost of what it will when you replace your roof, right? Also possibly like maybe mold can grow in those areys as well. Again, we got those extreme temperatures, and so it can cause mold to thrive and pop up very quick. We've seen it. Maybe even the possibility of a higher electric bill, just depending on how your home's built and the current ventilation versus what could be added during a roof replacement. All of that kind of just factors in there.
Okay. Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, touching on more of just like our area, the Myrtle Beach area and everything, as far as, being in a coastal climate, what is the typical lifespan you see, or like a safe window for a replacement?
Yeah, it's going to fluctuate a lot. I mean, I think the probably safest bet I would say would be maybe somewhere between 18 and 22 years. And that can vary quite a bit. I mean, geographically, people closer to the ocean that have salt air, obviously the humidity levels will add to that. But the closer you are to some form of brackish water, it's gonna extremely increase the time in which your shingles will get affected, right? So like we see probably closer to that 18-year mark when you're oceanfront versus farther inland, Loris, Conway, Aner, those areas. We see people get a little bit longer lifespan, closer to 25 years, depending on a few different factors, storm damage, things like that.
And kind of going into those factors too, like for the Grand Strand area, what are the big factors that you see that kind of speed up the aging process of roofs around here?
Yeah, and so obviously, we're in a storm environment. So hurricanes, tropical storms, just high wind gusts, tornadoes. We've had a few tornadoes here in years past. And so all of that is going to increase that. We're also probably one of the number one areas for new home builders, at least, in the last 5 years probably. And a lot of those shingles are going to be 3-tab shingles, which are going to blow off earlier, and a lot of homeowners are surprised by that, but just the wind uplift protection on those isn't great. Obviously some other factors just in our area specifically are going to be just intensive heat. I mean, our summers are very hot, which are just going to bake shingles and dehydrate those, cause those to lose granulars quicker than some other areas in our country. I think that some of the just manufacturing quality of roofs have changed. I think a lot of the more modern materials that we purchase are just better. Synthetic underlayment, just shingles in general have come a long way versus 20, 30 years ago, which are the roofs we're replacing.
Now, someone in this area that, is showing signs of an aging roof, they've been able to kind of see, maybe some curled, cracked shingles, some mold mildew starting to build up and everything. And they're thinking, should I, focus on this replacement now, or do I have a little more time to put it off? What would you say to that homeowner as far as comparing the cost of replacing now versus waiting on that?
I tell every homeowner the cheapest time to replace your roof is now. And that just goes to show, since I've been in the industry, we've gotten price increases, sometimes every quarter, but at least once to twice a year. And so just by you waiting a year or sometimes even 6 months can cost you, $500, $1,000. And that just proves the point, right? You need to replace your roof, right? You wait a year, we have a hurricane, it causes a leak inside. Now you have sheetrock, you have insulation, the possibility of mold, depending on how quickly things can get done. All of that elevates your total cost, right? That's going to save people money, whether they do it now versus waiting, right? And so, that's going to be some of the biggest things. Obviously, you have a lot of hidden things, especially with water interior damage. I've seen people rip out full walls and just black mold everywhere, right? And that's not safe to live in, right? So then there's a lot of other hidden costs that get wrapped into that. That people just aren't aware of. And so, it's always going to be cheaper to do it now versus to wait. That's just what we've seen historically.
So, people in the Myrtle Beach, Grand Strand area that have kind of made that decision now, like to make that next step for that replacement. What kind of process would a homeowner see with Linta Roofing as far as the whole next step for them getting that replacement done?
I would say first off, give us a call and set up an inspection time. We'd love to come out and just assess your roof, give you an honest opinion of where you're at, whether you truly need to replace it, and also maybe how much time you have left. We go out to roofs all the time that don't have to be replaced because there's no issues, right? Now there are things that can arise, and we'll let you know of what those would be. Then we're going to give you a detailed proposal, an estimate that's going to allude to what we're proposing to do to, one, bring your home to code, because that changes frequently down here. Then if everything looks good, we're going to schedule that time, physically replace your roof, start to tear things off, replace any, damaged decking, put down all the other various materials, underlayment, starter, drip edge, all those things, accessories to your roof, add ventilation if it needs it, start installing your shingles, do our whole cleanup process, and then, hopefully have a incident-free replacement,
Now from that initial call to the replacement being completed, on average, how long do you see that as a process for a homeowner in this area?
Oh man, I would say, our average lead time, we love to stay somewhere around 2 weeks. And that's from signed contract to roof being installed. Normally we can get out there within a day or two to actually assess your property and take a look at your roof. But I would say normally, maybe 2 weeks or so before roof would be replaced,
I got you. Now, just as someone who maybe is, still thinking about that process and everything, what's like a last little bit of advice that you would give to someone who is looking into replacing their aging roof that maybe hasn't, pulled the trigger on that yet?
I would say if you are in a financially stable position to afford the roof now, like I said, it's always going to be cheaper to do that. Unfortunately, from what I've seen, prices have never gone down. And so, that's the issue, right? I have people that have called me from a year ago or even 6 months ago who want me to redo their quote. And it's, anywhere from $1,500 to $500 more. And that's just solely based on material increase in our area, and in that time span, some people have had a leak or something like that, that could, again, just increase that cost. And so I would tell people, if you're in a position to where you can afford it and it's not going to, dry you out necessarily, then I always encourage people to do that. It's going to be the safest thing for their home, their biggest investment, and just protect what matters most.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up our episode today. Thank you, Daniel, for coming out.
Awesome.
Talking to us about aging roofs and, what homeowners should expect as far as what the next steps will be like as far as getting an aged roof taken care of. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions or anything you want to just us to talk about or discuss, leave some questions in the comments. Like, subscribe, check us out on our YouTube channel, and go over to our website, learn more on our Learning Center as well. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.